So can you talk to me a little bit, like those folks that are soil gardeners that are wondering what this cocoa buzz is?
Yeah.
Why is cocoa really taken off in the industry? Can you talk to me a little bit about the benefits of cocoa versus standard soil?
Yeah, definitely. Cocoa, the first thing that I like to point out is that even when cocoa is fully saturated, as long as it's properly drained, you're retaining 25 to 30% oxygen in the root zone. That alone is huge. When you're using a standard soil with a lot of compost and peat, it's easy to overwater your plant and suffocate the root zone. When you have something like cocoa that always maintains an optimal air to water ratio, it makes growing a lot easier and you're always going to get better results. Cocoa also, it does have an ability to hold on to nutrient a lot like peat, but cocoa doesn't degrade. Peat slowly biodegrades throughout the growing process. You notice your containers, the soil will shrink away from the side, and what's happening then? Your roots are getting compacted. With cocoa, it doesn't happen. It doesn't biodegrade like that. It stays very, I would say the word, it maintains its structure throughout the entire growth cycle, and it's reusable. Cocoa also, because you can feed it a lot like a hydroponic medium, depending on how you amend it, it's really versatile. So you can use cocoa, feed it every single day, and have the same growth rate as hydroponics while still having the function and form of a soil pot.
Are there any tips that you could give somebody with using the Botanicare liquid fertilizers in conjunction with cocoa?
I would say the number one thing with cocoa, you feed it like you're doing hydroponic. Maybe you can go a little bit lower, but yet higher than soil if you're transitioning from that. We use a 0.7 conversion scale when we're looking at our nutrients, and I generally tell people to shoot for about 13 to 1400 in flour, and that's usually safe. Now if you're doing CO2, something like that, obviously everyone's mileage is going to vary a little bit, but the thing that's really important with cocoa is that make sure that you're watering it once the plant starts to grow vigorously after your transplant every single day. You want to water it to some amount of runoff, even if that cocoa may look overly wet. If your cocoa's staying wet for 3 or 4 days and you're in flower, use a smaller pot next time, because with cocoa you don't need the same space that you would with the peat, because that cocoa holds the root structure so much better, and that's the biggest mistake I see people make. It's, use a smaller pot, get to watering your plant every single day, and get the best of both worlds.